Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, y'all. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to our 30 Days of Praise. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. As you all come on in, tap, heart, love, share with your followers. Good morning, everyone. Hey. Not now. You're not going to do that. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to our 30 Days of Praise. And we are at day 23, Psalm 22. Day 23, Psalm 22. Day 23, Psalm 22. Just 7 more days. Thank you for journeying with us these last couple of weeks. We have done 30 days of praise, Monday through Friday, looking at the first 30 Psalms of the book of Psalms. And so glad to be on with you all. Yesterday we were not on. There was some challenges. So if you did not have a chance, go and read for in your own time Psalm 21. Okay, that would have been the psalm for yesterday. Would have been Psalm 21. So go back and read that um, if you did not have a chance to read Psalm 21 for yesterday. And today we are on Psalm 22. Psalm 22. All right, so let's get into it. Psalm 22. As you all come on in, tap, heart, love, and share with your followers. And so, again, this is a psalm of David, and this we know is a song. This particular psalm would have been sang during a worship service, right? And so, hear what he says: my God, why have you forsaken me? Why are you so far from saving me, so far from my cries of anguish? My God, I cry out by day, but you do not answer by night. But I find no rest. Yet you are enthroned as the Holy One. You are the one Israel praises. In you our ancestors put their trust. They trusted you and you delivered them. To you they cried out and were saved. In you they trusted and were not put to shame. So here you may have heard something very familiar in this text, and that is the beginning where it says, my God, why have you forsaken me? Now listen, of course you know where you've heard that before. If you've ever gone to a seven last words service of any kind, you've heard it, right? Because it is one of the sayings of Christ. So remember, I started off by saying this was a song. It would have been sang during a worship service, right? But this just isn't any song. It is the equivalent of a blues song, right? It's the equivalent of like spiritual blues, or the spirituals, the Negro spirituals. It's equivalent to that. And so when Jesus says, so this is a song. Psalm 22 is a song that would have been sang during a worship service. We start out by saying that. It is the kind of song which in our context would be equivalent to a blues tune or a Negro spiritual, right? It depicts the sadness, the anguish of the person who's singing, which is what we know spirituals are. And the Negro spirituals, those would have been the spirituals that our slave ancestors, our enslaved ancestors, our enslaved ancestors would have sang many times while they were on the fields picking cotton, or moving about plantations, being transported from auction block to auction block, right? Um, or it's equivalent to a blues song where you have these southern voices coming out of the deep south, and there's this tone of deep sorrow and pain that comes out of the music, and it depicts their depth of anguish. In modern context, it would be similar to what we call gangster rap. Gangster rap, which really depicts, or hardcore rap, which depicts the plight of the inner city, right? We know when rappers like NWA came out, and just I'm talking about here in California, NWA and others, when they came out with their rap music, it was called gangster rap. It was hardcore rap, right? Because it was so harsh in its words, but really they were telling the story of what was happening to them in the hood, just like the blues tells a story of what was happening to people in the South, just like the Negro spirituals is talking about the suffering that people are experiencing during enslavement, and just like the worshipers of singing this Psalm 22 to depict their anguish, it would have been saying to help us understand the pain and the suffering that they're going through. And this is Psalm 22. And so when he says, my God, why have you forsaken me? And the reason, if you move forward to Jesus being on Calvary's cross, and he says, my God, why have you forsaken me? He is quoting the blues worship song. He is quoting the song. He is quoting Psalm 22 because of what Psalm 22 represents. It would be no different than if I quoted something from, an NWA lyric, because the lyric represents the suffering of my people, right? And so, or the suffering I'm going through, and I connected to a song that everyone listening will understand because they were also alive when that song came out, and so now there's a connection. I hope y'all hear what's going on here, right? And so Jesus quotes Psalm 22 because he also understands that they'll understand the sorrow he's feeling based upon the song he quoted, which was Psalm 22. Y'all catch all that? Give me some thumbs or some hearts in the chat if you caught all that. Now, that being the case, what we also see, in addition to the writer who's depicting their suffering, is a person who's suffering, but they also trust their God, right? Listen to what he says. In you, our ancestors put their trust. They trusted and you delivered them. So, even though the psalm starts off depicting their suffering, it also is a psalm that depicts their triumph, their salvation. So again, when Jesus quotes, my God, lama lama sabachthani, on Calvary's cross, he is connecting with his suffering, but he's also connecting with the fact that he knows he's going to be saved. And so, it's no different than when you and I would connect to a song of modern times, and I don't know what song you would sing today that would tell of your heartbreak, but also tell of your love. If I want to talk about love, I might start singing lyrics from Anita Baker's "Sweet Love," or if I want to talk about family and community being together, I might start singing something. Sister Sledge, "We Are Family," right? Or whatever. All the songs that we communally know that depict the challenge, but also the joy, right? One that comes to mind real quick is Frankie Beverly May's "Joy and Pain," right? If I want to connect with the harshness of life, but the joy of life, we might start singing "Joy and Pain," sunshine and rain. You can't have weather. You can't have sunshine and not the rain, right? And so this is what's happening in Psalm 22. And this is what's also happening on Calvary's cross when Jesus quotes the psalm. And so the suffering, yes, they're going through. The psalm depicts the suffering. My God, why have you forsaken me? It depicts the feeling that we all feel every now and then when it feels like God is disconnected from us. But it's also a psalm that brings us back to the reality that not only is God present in help, but he says, my ancestors My ancestors also sang of your goodness, sang of your glory, sang of how you brought them out of their suffering. They suffered, but you brought them out. And so be reminded today that the same God who is with us in the suffering is also the same God who brings us out of our suffering, who brings us through our suffering, who is in the suffering with us, right? And so he's a present God in the pain and sorrow. And he's a God who can bring us through and out of pain and sorrow, right? And it's not an either or, it's a both and. Sometimes God is with us while we're in it, and for whatever reason, sometimes we have to stay there for a while. Sometimes we're there for a while for a number of reasons. Right now, I believe we're going through a communal suffering, a communal challenge with what we see happening in nations, including our own, right? We're seeing horrible things happen to people that shouldn't be happening, not in the 21st century, right? And so while we sing the song, my God, why have you forsaken us? We also sing the same lyric. If we go down a little further and sing the lyric, that in you our ancestors put their trust. They trusted you and you delivered them. So yeah, I can cry out in my suffering and I cry out in my salvation and celebration of salvation. Cry out in suffering, but also cry out in the celebration of our salvation. And so today, whatever you're going through, number one, I want to encourage you. Don't believe that God's not going to come through for you. I know you've been going through whatever you've been going through for whatever time you've been going through it, but know that the same God that was there for David, the same God that met David in his distress, is the same God that met his ancestors in their distress and he saved them, and is the same God that will hear you and I in our distress today, in whatever we're going through, and save us. Same God yesterday, today, and forevermore. Amen. Same God, same God, same God. All right. So go back and read Psalm 21. Remember, because we didn't have our live devotional today. And then today, make sure you read Psalm 22 in its entirety to get the fullness of the message. But in short, we want to recognize that God who is there when I'm suffering, is also the God who is there to pull me through and pull me out. And he can. And that's what the psalmist helps us understand. All right? That's what the psalmist, and that's what this blues song, this uh, uh, um, Negro spiritual type song is all about. I've been very sick with bad kidney infection. We're praying for you, Anna, praying for you. And the same God that's with you in this suffering is the same God that is going to pull you through this, Anna. Same God, same God, same God. Amen. So we got you covered. Psalm 22. Psalm 22. We are reading this one from Psalm 22, Anna. Thank you. We're reading this one from Psalm 22. All right? So if you missed the beginning of this, go back and watch it. But we are in Psalm 22 and remembering that the same God that was there when David cries out, my God, why have you forsaken me? He is the same God that was there for his ancestors. He said, my ancestors, you're the God that my ancestors cried out to. And when they cried out to you, you answered and delivered them and saved them. Hey, Cousin Felicia. Cousin Lisa, good morning. No further updates today, Lisa, but I'll remind, well, we'll talk about it later. I don't want to put too much business on the internet. All right, so if y'all miss any of this, go back and watch from the beginning. Go back and watch from the beginning. I love you all. Have an amazing day. But just know that the same God that hears the suffering, my God, why have you forsaken me, is the same God in just a few verses later, verse 5. To you, my ancestors cried out. They cried out and you saved them. Same God, same God, same God, same God who sees, same God who sees and knows our suffering is the same God that saves. All right? So go back and read Psalm 22 and go back and watch this from the beginning. Y'all have an amazing day, and we out. Okay.